Sincerest apologies. We've been unable to connect for the last few minutes. So thank you to those who've bared with us and are on the chat. So there are a couple of reminders around checking the tech beforehand, and I can assure you we did. So hopefully that's the last of the technical issues. By way of introduction, my name is Andrew Small, match official developer with England Rugby. On the call with me this evening, Claire Ancliffe and Leonie Pryor, who will be assisting on the call, and delighted to welcome National League match official team referee Jack Moorhouse. Jack has a significant refereeing and playing background in the National Leagues and has also done some coaching. So delighted to hear his thoughts later on in the call. Just if you wouldn't mind in the chat, just a couple of thumbs up if you can hear us and see us, please. That would be really useful, just to make sure I'm not talking to myself.
Hopefully people can hear. Nothing in the chat yet, Smalley. So I just might faces shown, but no movement or sound from Michael. Oh, there's a thumbs up from all good, smiley faces. This is what we like to see on a Tuesday evening. Thanks, Fraz. I think we're good to go, actually.
Brilliant. Bram, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself. I know
yeah, sure.
Well, so.
Hi, everybody. I'm Claire Ancliffe. I'm part of the match official development team, helping. I'm going to be running the slides tonight. It's great to eventually see so many of you on, and thanks for bearing with us. Obviously, apologies, it's evening, so there is a little bit of background noise, family time here, but I do hope that you enjoy the session.
Yeah, hi, I'm Leonie, and I think I'm going to change my title to Quizmaster because I was trying to keep everyone entertained in the background on the hoof. So, yeah, welcome and thanks for your patience, folks.
Brilliant, and welcome to you as well, Jack. Bram, if you wouldn't mind starting the presentation for us, please.
Sure, bear with me 1 second and I'll just get it up for you, Smalley. All good? Hopefully you can see that.
Yes, all good, thank you. So why are we here? Effectively, over the summer, the DLV tackle height laws came in to rugby in England from level 3 and below. So obviously the men and women's premiership and the championship are not playing these laws. All other rugby within England is playing under the DLVs. We've got 4 law references for you and some definitions. I'll just go quiet for a moment and allow you to read those. Part of the process this evening is we'll be taking you through 3 clips. We'll be asking for your thoughts, a little bit of feedback around what you would do if you are the referee, and then we'll be asking Jack as our subject matter expert to share his thoughts on each of the decisions. Thanks, Bram. Just in addition to the DLVs, England Rugby have a DLV, a Domestic Law Variation tackle height framework. For those of you that are familiar with the laws of the game, we do have a head contact protocol, which looks similar to this. Again, I'll go quiet for a moment. I realise some of you may have already visited the tackle height hub and have seen this on a regular basis, but I'll allow you to have a bit of a look through it. From our point of view within refereeing, I think the question at the very beginning of that, has contact above the sternum occurred? Obviously, if we feel that it hasn't, we're going to play on. Those are those decisions and calls that referees make on the field. If he or she, they feel that there has been contact above the sternum, then we look at, for the first time in our game actually, the actions of the tackler as opposed to the ball carrier, which is why our table splits off to the left and the right. Obviously, the requirements of the tackler, has there been foul play? Yes. What is the degree of danger? And if we look at penalty, yellow card, red card, we also have that mitigation from a yellow card down to penalty, a red card down to yellow card. And the same occurs on the right-hand side of your screen as we look at has foul play being committed by the ball carrier. And delighted to inform everybody we've got a couple of clips to explain that and let people have a look and get your thoughts on what you think as well.
Smalley, just a wee question from Andrew Osmond. Can you clarify pick and drive off the back of a scrum, please, as apparently you did at the London Refs Conference?
Pick and drive off the back of the scrum. Yeah, I'll come to that at the end if that's okay, Andrew, and we'll address that with any other questions, mate. But yeah, thanks. We'll store that one up. Thank you. Just around the desk principle, describe what the individual has done, explain the action that is unacceptable, outline the likely sanctions if the actions are repeated, and confirm what they understand, what has been said, and the consequences should they choose to continue. We use the desk principle in refereeing, which is outlined in the England Rugby Refereeing Award and is also covered in the Advanced Match Official Award. So desk principle for the players and coaches on the call is the standard practice, which we hope our referees are able to adopt through the game. We're going to move pretty swiftly into the coherence exercise, get you thinking and get your thoughts. You're going to see 3 clips this evening. They're going to play twice in real time and then once in kind of slow-mo and half speed. We're going to put a poll up. We'll ask you for a couple of questions and then we'll get Jack to share his thoughts as well. So just to consider the following, what sanction would you give? How would you describe the actions of the player? Those are the 2 parts of the poll. Jack will give his thoughts and then we'll ask you how confident you are making the accurate and credible decisions. We do have model answers, what we believe are the correct sanctions for these according to the law, and Jack will take you through those after each clip. Goes without saying, please feel free to use the chat box where possible, and Leonie will try her very best, as she did before. She may well come off mute and ask the question to Jack or myself, or hopefully put an answer for you in the chat box. So please feel free to ask those questions as Andy did before.
Ready for the first clip this morning?
Yes, please. Yep. So in this particular clip, we're looking at the actions of the blue tackler. And here it is for you in half speed. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to post a poll and ask the audience if you like. So hopefully this question will come up. And it's a very simple question. Would you play on, penalty only, yellow card or red card? Please note these answers are anonymous, so we won't be judging you. I know there's a few referees on the call, so yeah, please feel free to give us your view. Excuse me. Hopefully you've had time enough to put in your thoughts. In line with the desk principle, the second part of the poll, we'd like you to consider what words you would use to describe this incident. We'll give you slightly longer to type those in. So again, the poll should appear for you, and please feel free to put in your thoughts. Jack, will come to you. So, Bram, if we could move on, please. So, Jack, from a refereeing point of view, looking at clip 1, would you like to share your thoughts with everybody on the call, please?
Yeah, so initially we're looking to see if we've got foul play, and I think in this instance we can say that we have. There's contact above the sternum initiated by the tackler, and there's no significant drop in height by the ball carrier either. We've got low force contact. His arms are wrapping, so he's looking to make a legal tackle. and it's in a passive motion as he's accepting the contact. There's no mitigation, so we'll just be looking for a penalty only in this instance.
Okay. Just in regards to your own refereeing, Jack, is there anything, obviously looking at the positioning of that referee, anything that you could pass on to some of the referees on the call?
Well, I think he's got himself into the right position early on. He's got a good line of sight. He can clearly see what's happened, so he's in a great position to give a good decision. I would say there.
Okay. We've got some really good coherence on this first activity. Over 65% of us agree that this is a penalty only. There is about 13% of people feel it's play on. Would you be able to just differentiate that from a refereeing point of view, please, as to why it is not a play on in this instance?
Because the contact is above the sternum, therefore we're looking to penalise from the new DLV law. So it wouldn't be a play on because the initial contact was above the sternum. Brilliant.
That's great. Thank you very much. Bram, if we could, sorry, Leonie, we'll come to you. Is there any comments in the chat that we need to pick up?
Just from Scott's observation, there's no tackle, but would we call it an attempt or a contest for the ball? And then we'll probably come back to Spencer, just asking questions about dropping the ball carrier, sort of diving to the floor and dropping their height to protect the ball as they're tackled.
Yeah, probably two parts to that question. First and foremost, it is a tackle. The player is attempting to effect the tackle. Therefore, within the law, it is an attempt to tackle. Obviously, the player, he or she, they will then hit the floor, which the referee would call tackle release, but it is an attempt to tackle. Therefore, by law, that does need to be below the base of the sternum. The second one, I didn't quite understand that one, Brum. Perhaps we could, sorry, Leonie, perhaps we could go back to it at the end. So, yeah, apologies, Spencer, I didn't quite understand that.
Let's go on to the next one.
Move on, please, Brum.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you. Again, same scenario. We'll be showing you twice through. Look at the actions of the ball carrier, please. And once for you at half speed. Okay, again, we're going to put a poll up for you all, exactly the same as the previous clip. The options are play on, penalty only, yellow card or red card. Hopefully that's populating for you now. And the second question as part of this, again, what words would you use to describe this incident? I'll give you a little bit longer to put those keywords in the poll. Dishwasher or washing machine finished, has it?
Yeah, that's mine. Apologies, guys.
That's no dramas. Poll's filling up nicely. Thank you, Brum. Jack, over to you again. Just talk us through your thoughts on this particular clip, please.
Yeah. So again, we're looking for the foul play, and on this instance, it's the other way around. So it's with the ball carrier. So you can see from the image here that there's a significant drop in body height, and he's putting his head into the tackle zone for the defenders. It's a low degree of danger. There's no contact made above the base of the sternum, but because he's initiated that contact, we'd be looking at a penalty against the ball carrier on this instance.
Okay. Again, the poll, and thank you to everybody for filling it in. Our coherence on the second clip is far higher. 76% of us agree with that as a penalty only. Again, Jack, what are the kind of indicators from the law and the refereeing point of view as to why it's not play on, please?
Because it's a really significant drop in height, and one of the things that we're looking for is head above hips at all stages. And as you can clearly see in this instance, his head's below his hips. Therefore, if the tackle player gets into a legal position, the likelihood of us getting a head-on-head contact, what we're looking to try and reduce, that will increase because of the position that the ball carrier has put his head into.
And from your point of view, there's a small percentage of people who feel that's a yellow card. What are the key indicators for our referees around this sanction being increased to yellow card? Clearly, it's not in this particular clip. I think it's worth stressing this is a penalty only, and a large percentage of the call agree. But what would be the indicators you're looking for from a refereeing point of view, please? So
we'd be looking for that direct contact with the head or indirect contact with the head. Fortunately, in this instance, we didn't get that, so that's why we'd just be at penalty only.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that. And if we could move on to clip 3, please. Same scenario, and we're looking at the actions of the assist tackler for the blue and white team, please. So final, or just about the final bit of work for everybody. Again, your thoughts on what you think the sanction for this would be. I'll beg your pardon, I put the wrong one in, sorry. You should have that poll now, so it should say clip 3. And what is your option? Play on, penalty only, yellow card, or red card. Same as the previous 2 clips, please. The second part of that question, any key words or phrases from a refereeing point of view that you would use, please. Thank you, Bram. If we could move on. Jack, would you like to take us through the decision and the process from your point of view as a referee for clip 3, please?
Yeah, so again, looking for foul play. In this instance, I don't feel that there is. I think the blue 7 is looking to bring the player to ground. There's no 2 heads in the same airspace, and there's nothing that, although there might be initial contacts over the sternum, nothing that the tackler is doing is reckless or dangerous. He's looking to assist the initial tackler who went low, bring him to ground. And looking at, with it being a number 7, I'd suggest that he's looking to get him on the ground and get into a strong jackal position from the image that we can see on screen. So we'd play through this and play on.
So I guess probably the differentiation, and we've got quite a few people who are at play on the call. There are a few who are at penalty only. I guess what you're saying then is by that player grappling and kind of looking to be at the top of the player and bringing them down, there is in fact no foul play with that because they're not in the same headspace. Is that kind of that indicator from a refereeing point of view that you're looking for? Yeah, correct. Obviously, you can clearly see that there's no 2 heads in an airspace. He's not making a dominant tackle, forcing the player backwards. He's looking to bring him down using the ball carrier's force. So yeah, we would look to play on here. Okay, thank you. Leonie, any questions around that? Obviously, there were a couple of people at yellow cards, but obviously, from our point of view, the key question around this is no foul play has been committed in this particular clip. The tackler is grappling the player and taking them to floor. Therefore, if we look at the very beginning of our tackle height framework, no foul play has been committed in this clip. So, Leonie, any observations or questions in the chat?
Yeah, good one from David. He's asked, previously the logic was that as soon as contact is made above the sternum, it is foul play.
Could you repeat that?
His observation is he felt that previously that as soon as contact was made above the sternum, it's classed as foul play.
Yeah, I think in this particular case, David, obviously the player is grappling the player. Now you could look at that and say, well, actually they are above the sternum, but this isn't an action that is foul play. So hence the reason why we are at play on this particular clip. Obviously the player is falling and the tackler is grappling them to floor. So therefore that does not meet that foul play threshold. So hopefully that answers that question.
I think that's hopefully answered a couple of them along the same lines. Richard's asked, this is where I find it difficult. Heads in the same space is now in the interpretation foul play because there was no contact above legal height.
Yeah, Richard, I do think in this particular case, because the purple player is falling, and as Jack demonstrated and explained it very well, there is no the players' heads are not in the same headspace, and therefore there is no foul play. Appreciate that there is a second player involved, and there is an element around that. But I don't know, Jack, if you've got anything to add on that. But certainly from a refereeing point of view, there is clearly no foul play. Jack, is there anything you wanted to add, mate? Or have you
I think just obviously you can see from the image on screen still as well, he's got contact with his arm, and contact on the arm and on the shoulder isn't part of the DLV. So the player's able to grab him by the arm and bring him down. And the height of the tackler was made by the initial tackler. So there's not really much more that I think the 7 can do here. And like we mentioned before, it's all at low force, and that's that sort of interpretation around getting the continuity in the game, playing through, keeping that continuity so we add value to the game.
That's great. Thank you, Jack. Leonie, I'm just going to look at publishing the last part of each of the poll questions. If you wouldn't mind just having a look back through, and obviously in a moment I'll ask you to reread Andrew's question back to me as well. So just for everybody on the call, you're going to get 3 polls up quickly. We're just asking you on a scale of 1 to 4 how confident you are in feeling that you were accurate around clips 1, 2, and 3. The same again for clip 2. And for clip 3, please. Thanks to everybody for taking the time to complete the polls, etc. I'm going to hand over to Brum to Claire for a couple of minutes just to go through the final part of the call this evening.
Yeah, thanks for your input on the chat, and obviously to Jack and to Small and to Leonie as well. Just some useful resources that I'm sure you've probably come across, and if you can we'll leave this screen up for a little while. Please feel free to take a snap of each of the QR codes. They will take you directly to the Tackle Height Hub. There's a huge amount of resources that are being updated all the time. We've got our whistle stop videos amongst lots of other really important bits of evidence, and also some some quizzes. So there's lots that can keep you just constantly ticking over and questioning yourself as well. So the Tackle Height Hub is a great mine of information. Hopefully you are aware of our Keep Your Boots On website. We've got a huge amount of toolkits in there around courses. We've got women's match officials. We've got young match officials. So that's updated. Keep Your Boots On website. Referees coaching. It's got Play It Safe on there as well. So safeguarding. But yeah, that's a really great visual sort of website to keep in your phone. Obviously, it is just coming into our course window now. October and November, we've got some errors that are going to start being delivered any moment. If you are new to refereeing and you've sort of enjoyed what you've heard and want to do a little bit more, please do take yourself to the GMS Course Finder, where you will find your local error. Those of you interested in coaching as well, we've got the IRCAs there too. Those of you who are well versed in refereeing, please do share that link with other people. There are a few spaces left on the courses, but they are filling up fast, and we've actually got some that are completely full. So that's our Tackle Height Hub. Take a snap, stick that in your browser. Keep your boots on. Same thing there, and the GMS Course Finder as well. We're very active on social media. A lot of the stuff that you have here will have snippets on Twitter, or is X now, at RFU_refs. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram as well. So you can get your fix on the move wherever you are. And it's certainly something to keep yourselves up to date with. So I'm going to leave that on the screen now, Smalley, so that people can make sure that they've tagged into all of those three. But yeah, that's pretty much the last slide.
Brilliant. Thank you, Bram. Jack, we'll come to you. And I know Leonie's got a couple of questions, but just going back to Andrew Osmond's question, just around the actions of the number 8 and he or she picking the ball up. Be interested in your thoughts and your ability to communicate that, please.
Sorry, Smalley, what was that? I missed that.
Yeah, Leonie, would you mind asking Jack Andrew's question again, please?
Yeah, it was around the pick and drive from the back of the scrum. So yeah, he specifically referred to Smalley's answer at London.
I wasn't at London. Sorry, it wasn't me.
Some London referees conference.
No, not me.
No. Your doppelganger then.
Yeah,
so basically the actions of the number 8 from the back of the scrum, pick and drive, and how the DLV applies.
Yeah, so I think obviously the DLV doesn't apply to scrum line out and maul. So I'd just be looking for a common sense approach, like the pick and drive around the ruck within a metre. If it's within a metre, we'd look to play through. And if it's beyond that, then we would look to apply the DLV.
Andrew, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, I wasn't invited to London this year, Andrew, so it wasn't me. Loans, anything else in the chat?
Just the main thing seems to be around a bit of confusion again around that second tackler or second person on making contact above the base of the sternum of the ball carrier, and why that doesn't automatically get penalised. And it seems that people feel there's a bit of inconsistency around how that gets applied out the game. So
yeah,
there's a couple of requests to play the video again, but this is all available on demand, I suppose. But could we offer a bit of explanation around that, just to give a bit of clarity?
Yeah, I'm happy to kind of take this one, Jack. But just in regards to particularly clip 2, we are looking at foul play. And if we go back to the very beginning of the call, just around that DLV tackle height framework, and I think the key question around that is, has foul play been committed? And from a refereeing point of view, that is the very first question we will ask ourselves. So the law does say the player is liable to sanction, which effectively means, for example, in situations like that, we have a grapple tackle. The players' heads are not in the same headspace. there is no foul play. So therefore, that is why that is a play-on situation. So if we go back to the very beginning of the tackle height, the framework, the key questions as referees we will be asking ourselves. And again, I can't answer the question around the consistency or perceived inconsistency, but that is the key question referees will be asking themselves is, has foul play been committed? And again, we look at the guidance, we look at the law, the application of the framework is very much lined up with the law. So hopefully that answers that key question. But please, referees, keep asking yourselves that question: has foul play been committed? Hopefully that answers that question, Loans. Ladies and gentlemen, a few minutes after time, and obviously apologies once again for the techo, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. Special thanks to Brum and to Leonie, and particularly to Jack for their input. We do hope you've got some value out of this. There will be another Coherence activity next week. There are a couple also scheduled for October and November. Please, as Brum mentioned, there are various resources out there for you to hopefully take from and perhaps apply them both in your playing, coaching, on refereeing. Again, I do hope that it has been of some value this evening, and look forward to seeing you on a